Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Experience Team's iteration planning meeting. This is Monday, June 7th. So we'll be going over the work that we plan on doing for the next 2 weeks. And first up is Brandon.
Yes, thank you. So I don't have a lot on the agenda at the moment. I'm going to start my sprint by catching up from my PTO, and then I'll be adding more stuff. I imagine it'll be OKR related, and yes, I think that's, and specifically the OKR that we're working on. I am not remembering which exact item it is, but I know Stephen's got more on that. So yes, that's it for me. Next up is Lauren, who is not with us on the call. So I'll go ahead and read some of her items. Looks like there's event template and content type in Netlify CMS, some work to be done there. So a lot of event related stuff. And then closing out the OKR for partner pages for Red Hat, for the top tier ones that are on the landing page for the partners. So some work to be done for Red Hat and Google, and yeah. Then some discovery on working for the product footer. Basically, we've got a project where we're trying to figure out if we can have some marketing materials in the product footer, and then an issue for blog SEO errors. And I think up next is Tina.
So the first item here, I'm going to set up and launch some user testing on the GitLab versus GitHub page to gather some insights for our stretch goal of mocking up a new design for our compare section OKR. Jess is gonna kind of help me mentor me through that. So thank you, Jess. The next item is the compare chart graphic. So I'm going to wireframe an updated version of the compare graphic that lives at the top of the pages that I just mentioned. I noted here that even though I put 4 points, it probably will span 2 sprints just because of feedback and iterations, but I'll at least get the first iteration out this iteration. I'm saving 1 point for feedback on the solution page template that was delivered last week. And lastly, I'm working on setting up a Figma 101 session with our engineers. And I already sent out a short survey. So if you can fill that out by Friday, it's only 5 questions, that'd be great. That's it. Next is Tyler, who's not here, and I'll read his item. He's going to be catching up from PTO. Laura.
Thanks. Yeah. I have one of those partner pages that Lauren has also been working on for HashiCorp, so I'll be working on that. I also want to finish building out a free trial banner that we plan on putting on the top pages so that they have a path to the free trial page. And then I also added an item to implement that on the selected pages. And I have a couple of comments from free trial page MVC that I've been working on last iteration. So finishing that up. And I just grabbed an extra point, trying to pick off some of the blog issues that have come up since releasing the new blog. So I grabbed one for the social links at the bottom of the footer are invisible. So I'll get that one done also. And next is Javi.
Hello, I'm going to be working with releasing the navigation in this iteration. I have a issue that's open right now, or I guess issues have always been open, but I have a draft MR that's open that has like work that's being done to release the navigation. I'm also doing like the work of like building out essentially like a narrative of like why we're doing this, because I imagine that this MR will probably be seen by a lot of people. So I want to give context for like, why are we doing this? Like, what are we doing? What's the rationale and whatnot, and like directing to the right issues and epics, because I know that there's a lot of work done and I don't want people to be like, this is my opinion. Like, yeah. So I want to be really good about that. Related to our OKR for this quarter, for comparison pages, I want to create a data schema file for the comparison infographics. There's an MVC one for that. That's pretty simple, a lot of grunt work though. And that should be out. I have the stretch goal that I talked with Tyler about, connecting that data schema file to Netlify CMS. And I have experience with Netlify CMS, which is why I'm putting it at like a low point, but I'm not super sure how the configuration is set up. So I was generous with myself just in case things come up. but that is a reach goal. But I do think that this is like a reasonable reach goal for us to accomplish this iteration. So that's it for me. Up next is Jess.
So for UX this week, I'm going to switch over to the demo page MVC1. I've also got a few kind of ongoing bits and pieces going. So there's one, someone put together a top tier drivers data, and I just need to look and see where we might be able to implement that across the marketing site. Another one is kind of figuring out what the top like 5 user journeys are for the website. And I'm hopefully going to be working with Niall on getting some data there. Also, as Tina mentioned, going to help her out a little bit with the user research going on for the compare page. And also there's like a small tax issue on the pricing page that I might just need to lend an eye to as well. And then Stephen, you're up.
Collaborating with Brandon now that he's back, going over the features issue, which is number 1 on our OKR. So for me, I'm going to do some competitive analysis and then some wireframing concepts, because the page is pretty old and needs a bit of work and a bit of TLC. So collaborating with Brandon on that to figure out what we can do technically as well as design wise. And then I've given 1 point for a bit of a cleanup on our foundations file and within Figma. It's kind of popped up that there's some discrepancies with naming, and it needs a bit of documentation. So I've given it 1 point. This is kind of a recurring thing that we need to sort of keep the maintenance on. It's similar to doing a service on a vehicle. We need to just keep it, healthy and fresh. So yeah, 1 point. It might go over that depending on how many issues or little things that pop up with bugs, but naming wise and clearing out swatches and things like that, it shouldn't take too long. Next up is Nathan.
Yeah, so first off, there's a bit of carryover from last iteration that was scrolling on the install page. It turned out to be a bit more work. It's 4 years old, so I kind of gutted it. But anyways, it'll be nice. Secondly, I think there's some links that need to be updated to 2021 surveys instead of 2020. There's another partner page. And then there was a bit of work to be done on the events page. So we want to add another drop-down filter for region, and then add a URL param. So if you're directing there from somewhere else, that you can already have that pre-filtered. I don't know who's after me. Oh, there's no one after me. So I guess that's it.
Great, awesome. And we'll see you next time.